Hello and welcome to the Innovator series. I'm Wain. Today we're speaking to Avi Lasarow. Avi is the CEO for EMEA for Pronatics, and Pronatics has been working on getting the UK back to work through testing, starting with sport. Avi, maybe you could tell us a bit more about the work you're doing with the Premier League.
Yeah, sure. So, it's a great privilege to be able to be in a position to help get the UK back to work. And in this case, our first real employer was the Premier League here. And, through working with them closely, we've helped devise a solution whereby players, staff, and key participants within the whole game could actually safely, be tested for COVID-19. Naturally, there's different kinds of tests on the market, but the test we're talking about here today for the Premier League and other employers is a swab collection device which uses something called real-time PCR, and it's really looking at the antigen, i.e. does the individual within a particular window period have the active virus. So what we have done is across the UK we've built 20 pods, let's call it, which are really collection stations which have very strict clinical governance and safety protocols around the spread of the virus, and we deployed those across the country to safely schedule and collect samples from the audience here. We spoke about the Premier League players and associated individuals and staff around them.
Fantastic. So how many are we talking about in total here in terms of number of people being tested, and how often?
Testing takes place approximately twice a week. Currently, if you look at the 20 clubs, we tested approximately 60 people. I mean, the total duration of testing is approximately 35 to 40,000 tests.
And so the tests are taking place on site at stadiums and training grounds?
In most cases, it's at these pop-up sites that we've created, which is at the clubs itself. Moving, of course, into match phase, there's a bit of a blended approach whereby it's going to be not just during these collection pods, but also there'll be some elements of self-collection for certain individuals. And of course, there's also been cases where we have our own health professionals that go to individuals' homes, if needed, to also administer collection of samples.
At the Institute, we talked a lot about the role that testing could play in getting people back to become economically and socially active. What role could Pronatics play?
So as we know here in the UK, the strategy has very much been more like a super laboratory infrastructure where governments are sending their tests to their own super laboratory facilities. And of course, that gives an opportunity for private companies to do the innovative work we've done where we find solutions outside of that without impeding or impacting on frontline service testing. So naturally, what we're able to do is work with employers. In this case, it's sport, but in other cases, it might be aviation, retail, and other such employers to safely work alongside government actually to get individuals tested so that they can get to work feeling safe and that the environment is secure around them as well. As a company, there's different strategies to implement testing solutions. Part of our solution also is, for example, a health passport.
Fantastic. And when you talk about health passports, surely there's a role that they could play, say, in unlocking international travel?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of debate on health passports generally. We're privileged to be in a position where initially in the world of aviation and now in the world of sports, we are enabling our own health passports. And ultimately what that is, it's a way that you can link test results of an individual in a secure way, an ability to scan that at a point of access, giving all stakeholders in this context security that the individuals have been tested and are okay.
It sounds like you've created a system which allows any individual to know their health status, their COVID status, and then use that to re-enter the economy, re-enter the social world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we've provided essentially the tools to take the test result into a practical, real environment of how we would like to get back to normality. And I think that also creates an opportunity for countries to do it on a country level, but also to verify, where the results are coming from. And that's going to be good for everybody. And that's what we look forward to contributing further towards.
So what would you say is the biggest lesson you learned from the Premier League testing?
We had to innovate to make something happen, and then to actually, to conclude, one of the biggest sporting leagues in the world. I mean, it just shows that an innovative tech company that maybe is a bit more agile and sort of, a bit more dynamic in their approach actually contributed to the success of getting this done, and I think sometimes much larger organizations can be very, entrenched in, bureaucracy and stuff like that. It might not happen. And so,
Avi, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you very much for the work that you're doing in this regard.